That's right. Back at it again, Full Custom Hot Dog here doing another Blu-ray review. That's right. And today we're going to be talking about the Garden Tool Massacre from 1997, released by SRS Video and directed by David Hinds or David Hinds. Looks like Hinds. I'm going to say Hinds. I apologize if I'm goofing it up. So, we need to start off with a few things first. SRS Video. Someone you might not be too familiar with. I've only been aware of them recently, and it seems like they do mostly shot on video films. So if you don't know what shot on video is, they're filming movies onto videotapes. I mean, SRS Video isn't, but people are, and SRS Video specializes in releasing those videos. So, hence why the screen caps are a little grainy, because this was all shot on video. And there is a charm about film shot on video. It kind of adds to that low budget flair. This one especially, which we'll talk about, of course. But there is that character to it, and it just kind of adds a little bit to the viewing experience. I've seen a few already. I tend to like buying them on Blu-ray just because I'm a stickler for making sure everything's Blu-ray. But it doesn't matter, because it's shot on video. It's only going to be as good as that tape allows it to be, which isn't so good. And this is my first SRS purchase. I bought this because the release was fairly limited in numbers, and the cover is really cool. I'll go ahead and post a picture of that, but cover's great, limited numbers, so, and it also stated that the movie was never released in the US. So I figured, why not? Let's jump on it. I'll take a leap. It came with a poster too. And also, it was my first time buying anything from SRS Video, so I kind of wanted to see what they were about, and so far, the quality is pretty decent in terms of special features. I guess they tend to copy most of their Blu-rays, and they don't get a lot of them actually pressed. And that's probably because they're dealing with a lot of low numbers. They're not as big as a lot of these other guys, but they've got some cool releases on the horizon. There's somebody I'm keeping an eye on, and I should be buying more of their stuff. And I'm tempted to, but there's so much out there right now that I'm being very conservative with my purchases lately. Even if it doesn't seem like it. I definitely have been, but SRS has some cool stuff coming, and that's already out. So I recommend at least keeping an eye on them for some kind of cool, low-budget weirdness. This disc in particular, that since we're doing a Blu-ray review, special features are the director's commentary and the original trailer, which doesn't seem like much, but again, it's a shot-on-video film from 1997. The director, David Hinds, whatever. He directed this when he was 15 in 1997, through 1997 and 1998. So, I don't expect a whole lot to be on this disc. And his commentary, I enjoy. I think it actually makes this movie better, because this movie on its own is a bit of a stinker. I'm not going to rate this disc, because I feel like you can't, I guess you can rate it, right? Let's give it a B+. Because I do like that there's a commentary, and there's not much on it, right? But how much can you expect from a film that came out around this time? You know, and in this kind of format, a shot-on-video film, you're probably not going to get a lot of stuff. Directed by a 15-year-old, you're definitely not going to get a lot of stuff. So the fact that there's any kind of commentary at all is great. And so let's move on to the film itself, right? IMDb says, psychopath Charles Scavolini escapes the mental institution and returns to his home, now occupied by a gang of partying teenagers. Scavolini takes back his property with brutal bloodlust. Now, this sounds way better than this film, which is kind of slow, a little boring. All the havoc takes place in like the last 20 minutes. One of the rougher aspects is I believe this was made in the UK or somewhere out there. I'm American dumb when it comes to all of that, so don't judge me too harshly and correct me if I'm wrong. But these accents are so thick, I didn't understand what they were saying half the time. And there's no subtitles, so I was SOL on some of the things people were saying. Add to that, again, this is shot on video, so you have video quality audio, which means you might not be able to understand anything that anybody's saying, just flat out, period. Now, this is where what I had mentioned earlier about the director's commentary making this film a lot better. Homeboy was 15 when he released this, and he's just got a lot of insight onto everything he did. He said he shot it. Like I said, he was 15 when he shot it from 97 to 98, and he shot it in segments over the course of those 2 years. And it's cool to hear somebody kind of go back and take a look at a film they did and talk about it. Who is he now? Well, he does still direct films. He more recently did a film called The House on Cuckoo Lane, or Cuckoo Lane. Something I feel like I've heard people talk about, but I haven't seen. So if it's a recommend, let me know in the comments. I'll try to get to it at some point with all these fat stacks of things to watch. But that one does seem cooler, and I'd love to see how he's grown as a filmmaker. He's done quite a few other films as well, but that's the only one that stands out to me and something that I've heard of. And so with that, you've got some pretty cool blood effects. I mean, again, taking into account, dude was 15 when he made this. It's pretty well put together, considering that, again, shot on video, and he was a youngin', so it was his first attempt to put anything together. I think this is a really solid effort by a 15-year-old, and for that, pretty impressive. To enjoy this film, though, I would recommend treating it as a piece of educational material, to watch this with the commentary, because insight is, to me, invaluable to not only know how to make film, but also what makes those things you like good. It always helps to kind of have more of those tools in your bag. But I think it's interesting to hear people go over their creative process. This guy made a whole movie when he was 15. That alone's impressive. The fact that it's anywhere at all competent is impressive to me. So, interesting release from SRS. There's somebody to keep your eye on in the future. I highly recommend at least following them on social media. There's a couple kaiju movies that they've got coming out that I probably should buy, and I may regret if I don't pick them up, because they do these things in small quantities. And like I said, a lot of these discs are burned copies. It seems like they're starting to go in the way of doing proper press discs in the future. Now, historically, I have a problem with companies that just kind of make copies. I don't normally like that. That's just because I'm a stickler. There was a company that was doing that who I refused to buy any of their stuff because they were doing that for all of their films. With SRS, I'm giving them a pass because their stuff is obviously on the budget end. They're releasing small amounts in small quantity, you know. They're not, it's not Vinegar Syndrome or Severin. Could it be someday? I think some of this stuff could have kind of take part into the speculators market that we're seeing. That's a whole other video entirely with the way Blu-ray collecting is right now. But it's a solid addition to my collection. At first, watching the film, I didn't quite enjoy it. And then, like I keep saying, with the commentary, it kind of added another dimension to me where, I don't know, it's a little sweet. But anyways, I am your host, Full Custom Hot Dog. You can follow me on Twitter. It's Full Custom Hot Dog without the last O, because that is just too long for Twitter. So, thank you all for watching, and until next time. If you like what you see,
I love what I see.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you can watch whatever comes next. And if you like the music you hear, you can follow me on SoundCloud and Spotify. Check the description for links.